Hey everybody, it's Dan Dammer with Crappie Dan magazine with another tip for November on live wells. But these are external live wells where we put them into a boat or on a boat where we don't want to use the live wells that are in the boat, or there are no live wells in that specific boat. It could be a John boat, it could be a kayak, it could be anything that you want it to be. Coolers are a great way to keep fish alive in those type of boats in those situations. A lot of us on tour will use coolers on the front of our boat in order for us to keep the fish real handy right next to us so that we can call them, we can go in and check on them. We know they're right there, they're handy, and your partner, like when Garrett's with me, we have to make sure that we're checking them all the time. We have to run all the way to the back end of the boat to check them. If you have a John boat or a smaller boat where it doesn't have a live well, you will want to use one of these. So what is it that we're using here that would help you to use in your boat and rig your boat when one is not handy, or if you want to keep it up front with you, or it's one of those situations of the boat we talked about? One of the ways is with an Orca cooler, or in this case I'm also going to show you an Igloo. With the Orca, this is a very well insulated cooler that allows you to not only keep things cold, but you can put water in it and you can aerate it in order to keep the fish alive. You put it right behind where you're fishing in the front end of the boat, or put it close to you in the John boat, and you can put either the fish into it and keep them alive, or you can put them, keep them cold. In this case, we want to keep them alive, so if we want to do that, we want to put a bubbler attached to this cooler on the back side of the cooler and Velcro it to the very back of the cooler, or put it into this pouch that they have put in here on the back of this cooler, and that way you don't have to do anything except slip it into the pouch. Run your cooler hose up through the top of the cooler, drill a hole through, and run your hose right through the top of the cooler in there with a stone. And when you do that, that will keep oxygen flowing into and aerating the water in your cooler. When you do that, make sure that when you oxygenate it, that you keep it open, not sealed, while you're doing it. So the bad air, and you can just crop it open, that the bad air will come out of it. That's the nitrogen and ammonia that will build up on that from the fish. So make sure you keep it open and allows it to push that air out. Or put a hole in the cooler around where you drove and put in the hose for the oxygenator, and that'll allow that air to come out. Another way is to go in and get your oxygen tanks and put an oxygen tank on this and run your hose right through the top of the cooler, attach the oxygen tank to one side or the other of the cooler, and that way it'll keep them in there and it'll keep them alive. That's with the Orca cooler. You can get them different sizes, from a 26 quart all the way up to a 70 quart and even bigger than that, but I would recommend somewhere between a 26 and a 70 for the purposes of keeping crappie alive. With that, that's Dan Dammer from Crappie Dan magazine with another tip of how to keep your fish alive.